An open heart Blancpain 50 Fathoms Homage. That sentence alone is enough to start a war in the comments. Normally, when we think of the Blancpain 50 Fathoms, we picture one of the purest dive watches ever made. Clean, functional, professional. So naturally, Pagani Design looked at that legendary design and thought, let's cut a giant hole in the dial. Somehow, I don't hate it. In fact, after spending some time with the Pagani Design PD1674, I think this might be one of the most interesting watches they've released. But there's one thing about this watch that genuinely surprised me, and it has nothing to do with the open heart. Stick around, because I think it's the reason this watch deserves more attention than it's getting. If you've been watching this channel for a while, you already know these videos aren't just reviews. They're stories about watches that catch my attention, whether they're affordable homages, forgotten Japanese gems, or iconic Swiss pieces. Living here in Japan gives me access to all kinds of watches, and every now and then I come across something that makes me stop and think, okay, this is different. The PD1674 definitely falls into that category. Let's get the obvious part out of the way before the comments section explodes. Yes, this is unmistakably inspired by the Blancpain 50 Fathoms. The bezel, the indices, the overall silhouette, it's all there. But unlike most 50 Fathoms homages that try to copy everything as closely as possible, Pagani decided to take a different approach. They added an open heart display, a 24-hour indicator, and gave it a personality all its own. It's almost as if they said, we're already borrowing the design, so let's at least make people argue about it. Mission accomplished. And honestly, that's one of the reasons I bought this watch. After reviewing quite a few Pagani designs over the years, I've realized the ones I enjoy the most aren't necessarily the most accurate homages. They're the ones willing to experiment a little. Sometimes that works beautifully, and sometimes, well, it looks like someone designed the watch 5 minutes before lunch. Thankfully, this one leans much closer to the first category. Before we continue though, wait until you see what happens when the light hits this dial. It looks completely different depending on the angle, and I honestly wasn't expecting that from a watch in this price range. The first thing that caught my eye wasn't even the open heart. It was how surprisingly balanced the entire dial feels. Open heart watches often end up looking cluttered because there's simply too much happening. But here, the exposed balance wheel at around 9 o'clock is nicely balanced by the 24-hour subdial sitting between 1 and 2 o'clock. It's definitely a busy dial, but it never feels chaotic. Everything has its place. The dial itself features a subtle sunburst finish that comes alive under sunlight. Indoors, it appears almost charcoal black, but outside you begin to notice the texture and the way it reflects light. The applied hour markers are generously sized and filled with lume, while the polished edges give the watch a much more premium appearance than you'd expect. Small red accents on the seconds hand and the 24-hour hand add just enough contrast without overpowering the monochrome design. Now let's talk about that open heart, because I know it's probably the reason many of you clicked on this video. Open heart watches tend to divide opinions. Some collectors absolutely love being able to watch the movement working. Others think cutting a hole in the dial is like putting a window in your refrigerator. You can see inside, but was it really necessary? Personally, I enjoy open heart watches when they're done tastefully. This isn't pretending to be a high-end skeletonized masterpiece. It's simply giving you a glimpse into what makes a mechanical watch fascinating in the first place. Watching that balance wheel constantly beating away is strangely hypnotic, and it reminds you that this tiny machine is alive every time you check the time. Of course, every time someone notices it, they ask the same question. Is your watch broken? No. It's supposed to look like that. At least I hope so. Powering the PD1674 is the Seagull ST2502 automatic movement. It's a movement we've seen before, and while it certainly isn't competing with Swiss luxury calibers, it has earned a reputation for being dependable and easy to maintain. You get automatic winding, hacking seconds, hand winding, and around 40 hours of power reserve. Mine has actually been keeping respectable time, although like many affordable mechanical watches, your experience may vary. Think of the accuracy specifications as more of a friendly suggestion than a legally binding contract. One thing I genuinely appreciate is how the movement becomes part of the overall experience. With most automatic watches, there's an intricate mechanism inside, but you never really see it. Here, it's constantly putting on a little performance. If you're introducing someone to mechanical watches, this is the kind of feature that immediately gets people interested. Now here's what genuinely surprised me. Comfort. Looking at this watch online, I expected it to wear like a brick. After all, it's styled after a serious dive watch. But on the wrist, it feels much better than expected. The case measures around 42 millimeters. Yet the relatively short lug-to-lug distance keeps it manageable. The lugs curve nicely around the wrist, making it feel more compact than the dimensions suggest. Even on my wrist, it sits comfortably without feeling top-heavy. The crown is large enough to grip easily, the bezel has a satisfying action, and the overall build quality feels surprisingly solid. No, it isn't going to make you forget a Blancpain, but it also costs about as much as the Blancpain's travel pouch. I also have to give Pagani credit for the finishing. The brushing is clean, the polished accents catch the light beautifully, and the transitions between finishes are sharper than I expected. Every year, Pagani Design seems to improve just a little more, and this watch reflects that progress. Even the strap deserves some praise. Usually, the first thing I do with an affordable watch is order a replacement strap before the watch even arrives. It's almost become a tradition. But this sailcloth style strap is actually pretty comfortable. It matches the sporty character of the watch, feels well made, and gives it a slightly more premium appearance. Will I eventually try it on rubber, leather, or a NATO? Absolutely. Swapping straps is basically the adult version of changing outfits for your action figures. Now let's address the elephant in the room. Is this a real dive watch? Technically, yes. It offers 200 meters of water resistance, sapphire crystal, and a screw-down crown. But if I'm being honest, this is the kind of dive watch that's probably going to spend more time diving under your shirt cuff than under the ocean. And that's perfectly okay. Most of us aren't saturation divers anyway. The deepest water many watches see is the kitchen sink. What this watch really excels at is being a conversation starter. It has the rugged look of a professional diver while adding enough personality to stand out from the countless 50 Fathoms inspired watches already on the market. So who is this watch really for? If you're a Blancpain collector looking for historical accuracy, this probably isn't the watch for you. But if you're someone who simply enjoys mechanical watches, appreciates incredible value, and likes a design that stands out from the crowd, I think the PD1674 deserves a place on your shortlist. It isn't trying to fool anyone into thinking it's a Blancpain. Instead, it takes a familiar design and adds enough of its own character to become something that's genuinely fun to wear. So now it's your turn. Did Pagani Design improve the 50 Fathoms formula by adding the open heart display? Or should some classics simply be left alone? Let me know down in the comments because I have a feeling this one is going to split opinions right down the middle, and I genuinely want to hear what you think. If you enjoyed hanging out and talking watches with me, consider subscribing. Around here, we don't just review watches, we share the stories behind them, from affordable hidden gems to legendary timepieces, all from my little corner here in Japan. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next Japan Time Stories.